Watches, a man's best friend. There are Rolex watches, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, Richard Mille, and then there's Omega. I think Omega, especially for collectors, most of the time it's the first watch in their collection, and it also is the easiest to achieve as a beginner. Like, it's not as expensive, and Omega watches still have a spot, I think, in the heart of every collector. And today we're gonna talk about my first watch that I've ever bought. I don't really have any other watches, it's the first one. And this video is not to show off or to brag. It's just simply for people who enjoy watches, especially an Omega Speedmaster and especially a vintage Omega Speedmaster. Because I recently picked up my vintage Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch, and the number is 3590.50.00. And this model has been discontinued in 1996, so it is considered a vintage watch. And before we get to the unboxing of the watch, you can see it in just a second, let's talk a bit about the history of Omega watches. It all started in 1957, when Omega first introduced the Speedmaster model as part of the Seamaster line along with the Railmaster. The first Speedmaster was called the Broad Arrow, and it featured a 39mm case. Over time, the Speedmaster evolved, and in 1962 and 1963, Omega introduced the straight batten hands, which have since become an iconic feature of the watch. And in 1965, a new model was released, featuring a 42mm asymmetrical case. Meanwhile, in the early 1960s, NASA began a search for the best watch to accompany astronauts in space. Several brands were anonymously purchased for testing, and in 1964, only one watch emerged as the clear winner, the Omega Speedmaster. On July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 11 mission achieved the monumental feat of manned lunar landing, and as Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon, his fellow astronaut Buzz Aldrin became the first person to wear a watch on the lunar surface. That historic watch was none other than the Omega Speedmaster Professional, equipped with the caliber 3-2-1 movement. This momentous event forever cemented the Speedmaster's legacy. Alright guys, now that you know more about the history, let's finally take a look at the watch that I bought. Let's skip to the unboxing. So this is gonna be a very chill unboxing. I'll turn the music up a bit and just will commentate a bit here in the voiceover. As you can see, it is a vintage Omega box. I mean, the watch is from 1996, and you can see it has some minor damages, outside on the box. Now, when we open the watch box, you can see the actual box, the leather box, the red one, where the watch is inside. And it also has some minor damages, some minor wrinkles, and that's just because, as I said, it's a vintage watch. And you can also see here inside of the box there's a card holder out of leather, has never really been used. And of course the operating instructions with the user manual and everything you need to know about the watch. Now we can get ahead and actually take a closer look at the watch box itself and actually inspect the watch. So as you can see here, inside is my vintage Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch, and I just think it's the perfect watch. As you can see here, the chronographs, and also the watch is in perfect condition. You can see there are no scratches on the glass. The metal is absolutely perfect, and that's also why I paid around 6k in euros for this timepiece. Just look at the watch. It's amazing. It has this rich history that we just went through, and you can also see here from the sides, literally no scratches. I think the previous owner didn't really wear it. Maybe it was locked in a safe or somewhere. Also here on the back, the Omega Speedmaster Professional. stamped into it. You can see here on the bracelet, just phenomenal condition. And obviously here, the engraving here on the backside. I mean, that's what we are about here. It's flight qualified by NASA for all manned space missions, the first watch worn on the moon. I mean, you've just seen in the history, this watch, it's for collectors. It's just amazing, it's so beautiful. And I mean, look at the dial. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing, and I also hope if Nico sees this video, he's proud. I mean, it's the first, it's an awesome timepiece, first of a collection, and there are many more to come. And if you're watching this video in particularly for watches, I mean, obviously you are, just as information, in the future there won't be that many new watch videos, as I'm probably only gonna buy my new watch at the end of the year, so you need to wait at least 6 months. But there will be weekly new videos, and also if you want to keep up to date, follow me on Instagram, and I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day.